Here's the thing, puppy. Hey, you ever been in a storm, Wally? Not a thunderstorm, but a storm of fists raining down on your head, blasting you in your face, pummeling you in the stomach, hitting so hard in your chest you think your heart's gonna stop.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
For roping. I like that. You're a jabroni. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. It's What the Show. And did you know that as long as you speak in a kind voice to a dog, you can say whatever you want? Because guess what? They don't speak English. Love you, Luna.
It's true. Although I kind of think dogs speak languages, sort of.
What language do you think that she speaks if she doesn't speak English?
Well, I think she speaks English. I think
with a Yorkshire
with a British accent. I like to think when we do her inner dialogue, we make her British.
She curses a lot.
She does curse a lot. Like we're like Luna language. But I do think that dogs understand language to a certain extent. And this is my theory behind it. Because when I was in Germany, well, no, technically I was in Austria, but they speak German. You know what I mean? When I was in Austria, there was this adorable little doggy, little Spiky, and he didn't understand when I said no to him in a stern voice. But if I said nein, he would stop doing it. So I think dogs do understand language to a certain extent. This is my working theory.
Okay, right. The thing is though, like, so our dog right now is frantically running around because we just came back from the movies. So she, of course,
she's real jazzed up right now.
She's just got a lot of pent up energy. So
I said the same thing, yeah. William. You're just getting lots of love on us hat tonight.
We'll get to the movie in a minute, but like, yeah. So
dads, everybody, dads. They love this movie. Dads. Standing ovation from the dads. Okay, sorry, just had to get that out.
Was there at least 3.5 minutes of tepid applause?
No.
Oh.
This one guy was trying to start the applause, which is such a dad move. And no one really followed suit. And then I kind of felt bad for him.
But so, like, we've seen a good chunk of the summer movies. And most of them we've either seen on, like, the Wednesday or Thursday first showing or gone on, like, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And this one being, obviously, on a Wednesday. For those who didn't realize, we saw F1.
I think the dads chant gave that away. Just kidding.
But I think, honestly, I think this was the most attended movie we've seen. And not that our theater ever gets that busy, but this was, I'm pretty certain of everything we've seen this summer, the biggest crowd we've seen something with. So F1 might actually do quite well at the box office.
I love a petty dog, first of all, Lego. Second of all, I do believe I called during the box office report that I was like, this is going to be one for the dads. And dads go annually and see like one movie in the theater. So like this is gonna make some money. And yeah, I stand by that, I think.
I just Googled number of fathers per capita in Savannah, Georgia. Nothing came up that's reliable.
Nothing came up. That's sort of disappointing. I do always say to Mike that like the weirdest movies, not the weirdest movies, obviously, again, like when we went and saw Barbie a couple of years back, like Barbie was popping to be expected. And that's how we kind of knew it was going to be a hit, which again is why we use the Savannah meter to kind of gauge if something's going to be a hit. If it gets out of like the film world, the film bubble that we are in and goes to the general public kind of situation. But there are times that I just think like weird movies people are into here. Like everyone, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be offensive. It's not a weird movie, but like, I don't feel like we all talked about Final Destination. I feel like people were kind of hyped about Final Destination, but everyone in my job was so hyped about Final Destination. I've never heard them talk about pop culture this much. And I was like, of all the movies, this is the one. Again, no offense to Final Destination, but yeah, it's weird. I just feel like certain movies here, I'm like, this is the one. So
Now
do
I
they have
just
to, like,
I need to know the overlap between people who work in the dental field and the Final Destination movies, because it feels like there's like some unexplored
there's gotta be
territory
something
there.
to
You might be
this.
onto something here.
And don't you think really of all the movies we should have been excited for this summer, for the irony, it should have been How to Train Your Dragon as one of the main characters is named Toothless. It's why I also always like to represent Jaws. I think it's funny, considering it's like my past job and my current job rolled into one. So, also happy 50th, Jaws.
Before we get
Like a day over 20.
we get too far into the stream, I'll do our quick little fantasy football draft update because we now have 9 movies in there. We did have one change in order. So starting off, debuting and currently in 9th place is AJ Lancaster, who of course had Elio, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Good movie, I think, personally.
Also debuting Brendan Buckingham with 28 Years Later. We can mention that as well. Karate Kids Legends has slipped. So PLD is now in 7th behind Kim Denuzio, who is in 6th now with Ballerina. Juice actually did move back a spot to 5th. Final Destination is now in 5th as How to Train Your Dragon has passed that. It is in 4th at the moment. That should actually be 2nd by the end of the weekend. I'm currently in 3rd with Mission Impossible. Benny is currently in 2nd with Thunderbolts. Those two are going to be neck and neck, it looks like. And at the moment, number 1, Lilo and Stitch. Jeremiah Morris will have the number 1 pick as of right now.
I don't think that's changed. Well, no, I don't think.
I mean, Superman, I think there's an outside chance could do it, but it's going to have to leg out quite a bit.
Yes. I feel like, can I say something about Superman? Can I speak my truth? So I told Mike when everyone was first getting hype about it that I wasn't that excited about it. And I'm so excited when people are excited for things, and excitement is kind of contagious. And I was like, am I getting excited about this? But I'm just not personally a big Superman girly.
Same.
Which is fine. At different strokes for different folks. But then I think the second trailer came out and I was like, okay, I don't know if it's everyone's, again, the excitement is contagious and everyone else is so excited about it that I was like, am I excited about this? Second trailer kind of got me hyped. The most recent trailer, the trailer we saw tonight, I did not like as much. Yep. I was like, oh, kind of back down again. So like, it really depends on the trailer and my mood. Am I going to go see it? Obviously. Am I hoping that it's good? Absolutely. I always want to go see a good movie. And again, I always want something that means a lot to a lot of people to be good. Like Superman, I understand, does mean a lot to so many people. And for that reason, I don't want any of them to be disappointed. But yeah, like, I don't know, like certain trailers, I feel like when they focus more on like the character beats, I'm like, oh, okay,
better, yeah.
This looks interesting. I could be into this. But then like the most recent trailer is very much like robot armies in the sky kind of situation. And I was like, oh, like we've done this. Like, which I understand. There's certain beats in comic book movies like you can't escape. I get that. I mean, that's just not me being a hater. I just wanted to speak my truth. Okay, thank you.
So
No,
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just saying I'm kind of right there with you. Like, this is my most anticipated movie because Superman and Hope, big thing for me thematically. Huge thing for me thematically. The last trailer, like all like the regular internet pundit people got so much more excited about it. They're talking about, oh wow, like we thought it was good. Now we think it's gonna be great, blah blah blah. And I was like, I loved what this looked like, and I kind of just like I'm like A- now.
Yeah.
So
I really like a trailer, and again, like this just proves like what marketing, and again, a trailer does not make a movie, but like this just really proves how like marketing can make such a difference. Like there are certain things that I'm like, I'm seeing this trailer, I'm intrigued, and then other times I see something and I'm like, oh, that's kind of actually tempered my excitement a little bit.
That's exactly where I was going to go with this. Is both movies we saw last weekend, the trailers do not indicate what the movie is. In both 28 Years Later or Elio, neither of them were really marketed to what the actual movie was.
I don't think Elio's marketing is that like different than what the movie is, but I could be wrong.
I think Elio's marketing just provided just like a surface level of the basic idea of what it was, and what on the surface it looks like a very simple story, whereas when you get into it, there's a lot more nuance to it, but people didn't get that from the trailer, and so many people are like, oh, I saw the trailer and it doesn't look like it's anything interesting, and then
it's so good. Can I just say, Disney, of all people, really, I say with love to Disney, but also they deserve a lot of criticism. Capitalism. But greedy bitches. But I am really impressed this summer with their releases, minus Lilo and Stitch, really hitting, I think, very well on mental health issues. And like both Thunderbolts and Elio got me in my feels. And I would like to say, again, it's been a rough year, I think, for a lot of people. And it's certainly been a rough last week or so. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's very nice.
So Elio was, I think, and it's crazy to say this because Lilo and Stitch is making money hand over fist. And the biggest complaint about Lilo and Stitch was like the one big change they made from the movie, the cartoon. People are upset that they're like, oh, Ohana doesn't mean anything anymore. That message is in Elio.
Yeah, and done better. So if you were like, man, I really hate Ohana means family, family means no one gets left behind, and how they changed that in Lilo and Stitch, go see Elio.
Yes.
It might be more of your alley, is all that I'm going to say.
Also, how has Elio's Pizza not gotten a tie-in with this movie?
Yeah.
What? You had one job, Elio's. One.
What is Elio's Pizza?
It's like the square pizza that's kind of like the old cafeteria pizza.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like a triangle. It's you are Googling that right now, aren't you? Elio's Pizza is like it's not very good. Don't get me wrong, but it's very simple pizza. That
is it as good as Pizza Ranch's VLT pizza? Sorry, I had to have a small juice moment.
A juice moment. While AJ is figuring out what Elio's Pizza is, 28 years later, though, a lot of people thought was going to be a lot more of an action / zombie focused movie, and that's not really
what's a weird complaint that I've heard a lot is everyone acting like this one is vastly different in tone in comparison to the first two, acting like the first two were very similar in tone.
They're different movies.
And I think that 1 and 2 are very vastly different in tone.
Mm-hmm.
And I also might be, I think the two of us, so I shouldn't say the only person, but I think the two of us are like the only people I've heard that like 28 years later better than Weeks. Weeks, I think, is by far the weakest in the franchise. And so many people I've heard talking about it recently are like, yeah, 28 years later is by far the weakest in the franchise. And I was like, I have people watch 28 Weeks Later recently because I don't know about that. What I will say, though, is I did spoilers for the substance. I'm not going to actually spoil anything, but I'm going to like vaguely talk around a subject for a minute. We did walk out because, as we all know, in the 28 series, it always starts with like a little bit of text, like blah, blah, blah. This happens. You know what else does that as a franchise? Star Wars. You want to know what people bitched about in Rise of Skywalker? A single line that kind of, undid certain things of the previous movie. And all I'm going to say is maybe 28 years later does that. And I'm like, are people going to bitch that much? Maybe this is why people don't like it. People really don't like it when you explain plot in a line of dialogue. I'm going to say personally it doesn't bother me in either instance.
Oh, they did!
They did it! Yes, they did it!
I have not seen the marketing for that, but they... Okay, I take back what I said, Elio. You understood the assignment.
Heroes?
Do it!
I think Heroes.
I mean, are we all okay? There's like 3 of us in the chat. Yes, thank you. Somehow Zombie Palpatine came out. Are we all okay? William's seen it. AJ, are you okay with me spoiling something?
Okay, so I had to find out if this movie was appropriate to take a 14-year-old to. So in the process, I got a little spoiled. Yeah. So spoilers for the substance. So much zombie dong?
So much zombie dong.
Lots of zombie dong.
So much.
like-
I seriously so much nudity in this movie. Not to be like a prude, but like I was not prepared for the amount of nudity in this film.
On the Extra Movie Butter podcast, JTE broke them for a minute. He called Samson, who's like the alpha. He's like, "Oh yeah, his name's Big Wang Kang."
Yeah. They like literally the one shot. They're just like, "Oh, look at this zombie dong," and you're like, "Wow!" I understand why he's the alpha, I guess. Also, it is weird, and I understand
Jesus.
it's 28 years later. But like I was like, oh, this is a new bit in this. We suddenly have alphas, and that was not a thing before. Again, I'm not bothered by it, but I was just like, this is a new bit of lore, bit of world building.
AJ, there is a chicken jockey scene in this, and when it happens, and a lot of people it's divisive, and I've heard it from some people are like, oh, this is awesome, and it makes me more excited for the next movie, and other people are like, what the fuck? Why is that how the movie ended? I loved it. I was like, we just took a wild left turn, and I'm so for this. Jack O'Connell is going on the Heroes bracket.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He might be my favorite actor in Hollywood right now. His appearance, he is billed third in this movie and does not show up until
Barely
2 minutes are left.
Barely in it. But he deserved that third billing, honestly. He gave everything he had in the 2 minutes of screen time that he had. Wait, going back to my point though, I'm gonna spoil it, everyone. Okay, so Lego, anyone who hasn't seen it yet, if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this thing in the beginning because F it, I do what I want. But making a clear warning, spoiling. Okay, so obviously, big massive cliffhanger at the end of the second one, right? Yeah, spoilers for the substance. Big massive cliffhanger. Like, have they broken out of the UK? They've made it to Paris. Womp womp womp. Literally in a line of dialogue. Not a line of dialogue. A line on screen. It just is like, this happens. The rage virus. Then 28 days later, this happens. Then they contain it. Then literally, what is even the line? I can't remember the exact thing, but I was like, oh, we're saying fuck whatever happened in the second one, which was directed by Danny Boyle. They're like, it almost broke out. They were able to contain it in the continental Europe. And I was like, somehow Palpatine returned. We're just brushing this away with a single line. And again, I'm not bothered by either one. I know a lot of people are, at least in the Palpatine return thing. I don't know about this one. Maybe people aren't bothered by it. Maybe people are. Personally, I don't care. I just don't care. It's a good movie. And you're like, okay, we want to keep this contained to the UK. And we decided that was a dumb idea to have it spread. I also don't think, though, that if you saw this trailer, it gave you any indication that it had spread. So if people were like, that the trailer did not give you that. Now, mind you, if you watched the last movie and we're thinking they're going to go somewhere with that, I could see you being a little disappointed.
That's fair.
I can see that. Personally, did not bother me. I like it. I think the 28, whatever you want to call it, franchise has always been a little bit more contained in story, in scope of things. It's always been, about the human stories that they're telling in it. But yeah. All right. Thank you. I just want to get that out. Sometimes this is what I'm saying. Okay, wait. No, I'm not done. One more thing. This is what I'm saying. You can't effing please people. Okay? Because on one hand, I'm going to rant about Star Wars real quick. On one hand, the prequels come out. People are bitching. You're explaining too much. We don't need to know anything. Solo comes out. We don't need to know why he's called Han Solo. Less is more. Midichlorians. It's the Force. One line of dialogue in A New Hope is all we needed to know about it. Don't tell us too much. Star Wars little fanboys, okay? And then they were like, we've heard you, Star Wars fans. So what we're going to do is we know you bitches love Palpatine. And we killed Snoke in the last movie. So we're just going to go ahead. And with a line of dialogue, less is more. Not even dialogue. I don't want to keep saying dialogue. A line, if the scroll comes up, we're going to tell you, we don't fucking know how he returned, but somehow he returned, okay? Dark forces, the dark side. It does wild things. And people bitch about that. So you cannot win. You can't win. You tell them too much, they're mad. You don't tell them enough, they're mad.
The plot of the movie kind of tells you how he somehow returned.
Yes.
So you get it.
It does, actually.
Is it dumb? Yes.
Yes.
But they do it.
It is. But they do technically tell you. And every single person is like, and then in 20 years, we're all going to suddenly love these movies and be bitching about whatever else comes out. Because this is what being a Star Wars fan is. See you next Sunday. Yeah, you're a factory of sadness.
Jesus.
See you next Sunday. Just kidding. I love Star Wars with every fiber of my being.
Mike Polk, thank you so much for that video that came out. What was that, like
However,
15,
years.
15,
The amount that I
20 years
quote it.
ago?
It just really fits in every capacity.
That is the
That's the
video
definition of being a fan.
of him yelling at the stadium is like the total encapsulation of following a bad team. Like,
You are a factory of sadness.
I'll see you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday.
And one of my favorite, it's almost like an Easter egg. He is wearing the long snappers jersey. The very next game, they lost on a muffed field goal when time expired. So the long snapper actually cost them the game, and that's whose jersey he's wearing in the video.
And one more thing
Beautiful.
about 28 years later, getting randomly back on topic, but also off topic. Sorry, apparently I'm in a ranty mood. This is not a rant, but just as a girly pop who watched a lot of British coming of age shows, especially in the like 2010s, you know, when we were all on Tumblr, times, it just pleased me that there was a movie that Jack O'Connell and Jodie Comer were in, because I was like, someone from Skins and someone from My Mad Fat Diary, my little British coming of age heart can't contain this. So anyways, thank you. That's all I needed to say.
So just to kind of like put a bow on everything, we also just saw F1. F1, without giving too much away, is the absolute definition of a summer popcorn movie. It is by far the movie that I think is going to get the most fist pumps of anything that I've seen so far this year. It is a crowd pleaser. I think this movie is going to make money hand over fist. If you want to go and see a loud, dumb, somewhat predictable movie,
Pretty predictable.
but
In a good way.
that you're going to walk out with a smile on your face, that's what F1 is.
And another thing, just another quick rant, storytelling rant. Things are not bad because they're predictable. It's called mother effing foreshadowing, okay? It's fine if you know where things are going. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Thank you for having my TED Talk.
Yeah. Ooh, familiar storytelling. How about we let something be comfortable instead of subversive?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's I think that's a good way to put for F1's comfort food.
Yes.
F1 is totally comfort food. I think this movie's going to make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
So Moose Haas has in the past 2 years. Well, first he had the machine, which we knew was going to get him the last pick, and last year he had the Fall Guy, which we all thought was going to do good.
I know. That was such a good movie. So I'm so sad that it didn't do better.
Just real quick, who had that movie the highest when we did our top tens?
I think it was Moose, actually, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
Was it you?
Oh.
You're listening.
Did you?
You were
Did
the
you?
unreliable narrator that you caused chaos
AJ?
twice during that.
AJ is either like spot on, like gets the pick that no one is gonna pick, or he just like it's a complete wild card, and you're like, "Ooh, that woofed."
For every, I think I had I think I had F1 at 5.
Wow.
I think,
Okay.
if I remember right,
I
it's
think they
either
had it
somewhere
highest.
between 5 through 7.
I was
But
gonna
I
say,
remember.
say Moose had it at like 6. So you might, if you had it at 5, then yes, that would have
Yeah.
been. That would have been right.
I took it down. I should.
Well, you
Look that
also
up.
said halfway through the stream that you had Naked Gun at 10, and then when you did your recap, did not have Naked Gun at 10.
That's-
So-
That's how I like an AJ. Listen, Juice doesn't know what movies are coming out. He makes up his list as he goes.
What's the Thunderbolts?
AJ forgets his list halfway through every time.
Bodies. Number 9.
Listen, if he would have been right, though, we would have
That
been
would've
like,
been
oh
so
my
funny.
God, that's crazy. You called that. Who's excited for Mithrigan? I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, we're going to see Miss Reagan over the weekend.
It's so bad.
Apparently,
So bad.
that is not tracking the way the first one did. So I don't know that I think I predicted that to be like number 8, and I think I'm wildly wrong. So
I'm wrong. My hot take was I shouldn't have been so high on How to Train Your Dragon. I knew.
I
know
also
it's
was
good.
very high on it, so you're not alone.
I had it at 4, so I
I
had
F. Not really
I
a
had
hot take.
F1 at 8.
Yeah, I think I had it at like around the same, like 8, 7, something like that.
F1 finishing 8
9.
is probably pretty close. It's a matter if it can top Mission Impossible.
My other bold take, though, is Jurassic at 7.
I remember that. Oh. Yeah, so Mithrigan 2.0, I know this movie is probably not going to be quote unquote good, but I'm hoping that it's awesome. And those are two very different things. From what I've gathered is that it's one of those movies which very similar to Lilo and Stitch, from what I've heard, is like when Mithrigan is on screen, it is wonderful. And when she's not, it's not. So I'm totally okay with that if that's the situation. I just want Mithrigan to be a movie that's just that I'm like, oh, you went there? Okay. Like just throw some ridiculousness at me that, something out of left field. Awesome. Go for it.
Yeah, it looks kind of like
I'm hoping Jurassic is good.
like the T2-ness of it all, plus like the aliens of it all, plus everything going on with this dumb bullshit movie. I'm so excited to see.
And that's exactly what it's a dumb bullshit movie, and that's why I'm excited for. Like, especially right now, we need something dumb to turn our brain off.
It's the Citizen Kane of bad movies. Honestly, put that on a movie poster. That's a pull quote right there.
Makes me happy.
It's a good day. William, living the dream.
I mean, he's seeing Wrath of Khan, so period. Like, he's living his best life.
He's having a great day.
Yeah.
For sure. Ball show.
So did we talk about that we did not get Night Bitched?
Oh yeah, we didn't get Night Bitch for once.
I am now officially boycotting the James Bond franchise.
He is.
Yeah. Oh, there might be something tomorrow, but like,
So
yeah, Denis Villeneuve getting Bond.
I'm done. Bond is dead to me. James Bond no longer exists.
It's gonna be interesting to see who he gets for an actor, man.
I have questions.
But I don't know. Did you like any Denis Villeneuve movies before Dune?
No, they're all terrible. He's pretentious as fuck. He's as bad as Nolan.
Nolan slander. I'm not mad that you are protesting Bond, because as someone who's seen one whole Bond movie in her life, I don't feel like I'm going to be missing out on much.
And you did not see one of the better ones.
Which one was it?
I did not.
The most recent
most
one, No
recent
Time
one.
to Die.
Oh yeah, no. Casino Royale or bust. Like that's the only good Daniel Craig movie. I love the Daniel.
Skyfall's like one of the best Bond movies. Period.
I couldn't rock with it, man. Like
Skyfall's way up there for the Bond movies for me.
But yeah, Casino Royale. And after my entire marathon of 72 hours of I need to know every Bond movie as much as possible, I'm so burnt out on these movies 3 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
And well, like there are some really, really good Bond movies, and then there's Die Another Day. So yeah, that might have been the worst.
I have to look up Denis Villeneuve's filmography. So off the top of my head, I can't think of any of his movies.
Did you like Arrival?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay. Yeah. That's the other thing he's got going for him. The funny thing is like when I first got into like figuring out who directors were, like similar name, you get like similar names of people with very different works confused. I got Damien Chazelle and Denis Villeneuve confused.
Okay, I can see that. I'm sorry. This is giving Christopher Nolan energy. Any director whose like picture is this, fuck the fuck off. You're a pretentious twat. Sorry, I said what I said.
He made me suffer.
I actually enjoy Dune Part 2. He did Sicario. Have I seen that? Have I seen Sicario? No. Yeah, no.
Sicario is above average in its field.
You know what else I decided tonight as I watched that stupid Rock trailer, whatever, his Rock trying to get an Oscar movie for the umpteenth time?
The something machine.
I demand better for Emily Blunt. She's just typecast now as the wife in prestige Oscar bait movie. And like, I just think she deserves better roles. She's a delight. And why are we just giving her, you're going to play the wife who's like, but why are you doing it? And he's like, it's my dream. And she's like, okay, if you must build that bomb or fight that man, like she deserves better, you know? Like I just think she deserves better than that. And she does great. Like she's giving it her all when she's playing the wife of person who's going to win an Oscar. But I just think I want more for her personally.
I'd like to see her again in something where she can like really stretch her comedic wings again, because Emily Blunt has fantastic comedic timing.
Like even the the dumb stuff like the Jungle Cruise movie, like
she's good in it.
She's charming. I just want to bring up for the Prisoner's Love in here. We were all talking about going to different bar trivias across our towns this past week. So I had this moment last night where like we won bar trivia. I'm sorry.
The champ is here.
But
we're proud of you.
But I did miss. We missed some questions. One was, what is the name of Josh Gad's recurring character on New Girl? And you know how it is when you got nothing right, and you watch the Schmodown. Sometimes you put down an answer like all white male, and it's the name of the actor who played Mickey from Shameless. That also happened that night. However, when the name of the movie or when the name of the show is called New Girl, and they ask for the name of a character, you can always just write down Old Boy 2005.
I respect that, honestly. Oops, I just dropped my little bobby pin that I was playing with.
New Girl's one of those shows I've watched New Girl, but like aside from the core cast, I couldn't tell you any recurring characters. I could tell you the main 5 characters' names, and that's about it.
Person I was with was like, yeah, we both like watched like the first like 6 or 7 episodes of it when it came out, and was like, oh, it's fine. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, that's like the definition of it's completely watchable, but it's nothing spectacular. The True American episode is fantastic. The one where they have their game, that one's well worth watching, but the rest of the series is kind of
True. Ben Bateman for Bond. Let's get it trending on Twitter. Denis Villeneuve. Here's your Bond.
Could you imagine if the last 2 choices are Ben and Drew?
The few returns. The Team Ben, Team Drew. Okay, so here's my trivia story. Okay. I just would like to preface this by saying I am ashamed of myself. I am ashamed. And so anyways, it's, general knowledge, blah, blah, blah. And I obviously prefer it when we lean a little bit more pop culture heavy. We honestly were killing it last night. The first 3 rounds, we owned that bitch. And then it was like, Sherry was like, I'm going to humble these girls because they're doing too well. Also, can I just tell you, wait, hold on. I'm going to tell you 2 stories. One, hold the phone, that the Pittsburgh Steelers, known to hate. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers with every fiber of my being. Terrible franchise. Team. There's a question about when they won their first Super Bowl. And y'all want to know how I deduce this? Because I watched the show This Is Us. And I was like, break it down. All right, the Pearson triplets. They were in 1986. They were in the 2nd grade. Their parents met. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so how to be early 70s. Okay. All right, hold on. We're going to break this down. For Jack Pearson, I'm going to get this right. It's 1974. And I was able to deduce this from a TV show. Not because I gave one iota of a crap about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would like to thank the show This Is Us for that. Thank you so much for coming into my home for 5 seasons of glory and tears and teaching me the little bit of knowledge that I know about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anywho, nailed that. That was a bonus round 1 and it was up to 10 points. So I was cooking. Okay. Then there we are. And we get to, she's asking me different questions. And I can't remember what the category was because she always tells you the categories. Like each round you get 4 questions. And she tells you the categories before because you have to wager how many points because you can wager 7, 5, 3, or 1 point on your thing or whatever. And you wager it as you answer, mind you. It's not like, oh, I know the category, I'm a wager sort of situation. You get to wager it as you turn in your answer. Anyways, so she gets to it, and everyone at my table turns to me, and I've never felt such pressure in my life. But the question was, what is the third most populous city in the state of Florida? Everyone, we've got this. We have a 6th-generation Floridian at our table. We are good to go. And I'm like, fuck me, I don't know this answer because I know number 1 and I know number 2, but I have 2 possible things for number 3, and whichever one I guess I'm going to be wrong. So I'm thinking out loud, and I go, Jacksonville is number 1. I know this for 100% certainty. And I go, but this is what trips me up is because when they count Jacksonville, they're not just counting the city of Jacksonville. They're counting the surrounding suburbs. So I think that's cheating, but whatever. So because of that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, Orlando and Tampa are big. Hillsborough County, which is where Tampa is located, is hella big. The overall county, I think, is probably bigger than Orange County, which is where Orlando is located. But again, I'm like, what are the rules that she's going off of for this question? Because like Orlando, the actual just city of Orlando has a pretty big population, but are we counting like Tampa and its suburbs? I'm overthinking it. Okay. Like clearly. Mm-hmm. So then everyone's like, go with your gut. And I was like, you know what? I love Orlando. I lived in Orlando for years. I hate Tampa. I think it's a shitty city. Sorry, not sorry. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and say Orlando. And the second I turned it in, I was like, I'm effing wrong. I know I'm wrong. And it's going to be Tampa and I'm going to beat myself up. And it was. And then my husband over here, not supportive at all, I'm already beating myself up, comes, I'm going to text your dad. He's going to run me out to my dad because he knows my dad's going to be disappointed in me for getting a question about the state of Florida.
You baited me into that, though.
So he texts him. I think I'm going to beat him to the punch. I'm like, I'm going to confess first. My friend saw me as like, this is the most Bethany thing ever. You're like, I did something wrong. I'm going to confess to my parents before my husband can. And I was like, I got to come clean, guys. It's weighing on my conscience. He texted so quickly. He immediately texts them. And then I text my dad, and my dad goes, not my proudest moment as a dad. Instant shame, y'all. I'm never recovering from this. I'm never recovering. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm a failure of a daughter. I'd like to apologize profusely on behalf of everyone. So my mom is trying to make me feel better. And she's like, that's a hard question. You did good. It's fine. You were in between the two. Felt terrible. Absolutely racked with guilt. I made up for it a little bit in the end because our last bonus question was name the 10 most populous cities in the United States of America. And I was like, well, I know Jacksonville's number 1 in Florida, and Florida's a pretty big state. We get a lot of votes or whatever in the freaking stupid electoral college. So I was like, I don't know, it could be Jacksonville. Who knows? It was one of the 10. So I felt like I redeemed myself slightly as a Floridian. Can anyone ever really be redeemed as a Floridian? I don't know. Everyone hates us. Bombed off the face of the earth or something, which I personally take offense to, as if good people don't live in Florida. Whatever.
Do you think the hurricanes come through there because God is trying to put space between himself and creation?
Wait, what?
Oh, just asking if there's so many hurricanes in Florida because God's trying to put space between himself and his creation.
No, I think so. I think that's probably it for sure. But yeah, I was like, it's like where you're from is like your family, right? And I'm like, I can talk all the shit I want about it, but the second that World War III is about to break out and everyone's like, take Florida first, I'm like, fuck you guys. But yeah, I'm like, this is my home.
That's where the stronghold is. We don't mess with those people.
Yeah, so, those are the meth, meth head gator people. Whatever. I can't talk. Anyways.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, like one time on SCN, they were doing like random trivia questions, and like it was like general trivia, and it was what's the third most populous city in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the chat, and I'm just like, guys, it's Carney. I grew up in Nebraska. I've lived here pretty much my entire life, blah, blah, blah. And then they give the answer, and they say Bellevue. You know what the thing is about Bellevue, Nebraska?
What's the thing?
I live in Bellevue, Nebraska.
Okay, that does make me feel better.
You know what is north, south, east, and west of me? Omaha.
Yeah. Nebraska has 3 cities.
We do not have our own metropolitan population. We have a separate population for our suburb, but
interesting.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Alex Marzonia, if you're watching this, I hold a grudge.
Yeah, Yeah, just kidding. You're just kidding.
Marzonia, you're going on the villains bracket.
Yeah, screw you. You know what, Lego? You're so right. Third most populated city. If you ain't first, you're last, baby. No one gives a shit about you, Tampa. You're literally a shitty city, okay? I said what I said. Hillsborough County is trash. Coned. Okay, thank you. I feel better about it. I really do.
Good.
Orlando's a far superior city in some ways.
Orlando.
I love you. But yeah, that's the thing. And then I was like, also Atlanta did not make the top 10 most populous cities.
That's surprising.
And that was very surprising.
Yeah.
I was like, Atlanta's got to be up there, right? No, shockingly not. We nailed that. We didn't get a couple, but San Antonio, we forgot. We're like Dallas and Houston. Bet, let's go.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, New York, Phoenix, bitches. Put it on the map. Chicago. We were going through it, but we done messed up on a few.
Yeah, San Antonio is the one that people always miss. I remember that from like,
oh, thank you for bringing
look at the map.
Texas, as you can see, hella big. So yes, they have lots of people. Philly, that was on there. We got that one right.
I think you got San Diego was you were missing.
Oh yeah, we were missing San Diego as well. So we dropped the ball on 2 of the Sands. I'm sorry to the Sands, but we did pretty well. I'm pretty proud of us. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. I'm surprised. I know most things. I mean, look at this map. It's gorgeous. What a place. There I am. Right here on the coast of Georgia. What's east of me? The ocean. West, the rest of the state. Skeletor. There he is. You
Skeletor is
can hit on
west of you.
I-16 and you're going to be on it for a while. This has been Georgia Roads Talk with Bethany. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Jeez. Oh.
Oh, Sami Lami is texting me.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that.
mean, Tybee Beach is
What?
Tybee Beach is, let's call a spade a spade. It's shitty. We can say that. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There are better beaches in the world. You know what else I think is weird? And again, I can say this as a 6th-generation Floridian. People hype up Clearwater Beach way too much. It's subpar at best. And the fact that it oftentimes ranks on the top beaches in the world, I want to be like, have you been anywhere else in the world? What's wrong with you people? It's shitty. It's on the Gulf Coast, which sucks. It's bathwater. Sure, the water is clear, the food, whatever, the restaurants. Have you ever been to another beach is what I want to ask people making these rankings. It's fine. It's a fine beach.
Most people haven't. Some of us are literally from Nebraska.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni. Go ahead.
It's a fair point.